As-salamu Aleikum. Hope you're doing well, inshaAllah, and welcome back to another video. As you can tell, this video is about trying to reconnect to Allah. This is a question that comes up pretty often, that I'm feeling distant from Allah. What can I do? I'm losing track of things, losing track of prayers, and so on. How can I reconnect or revive that connection? So I thought I would share a strategy. Of course, there's many different strategies, but I thought I would share one main strategy that I have personally found really helpful, and hopefully it is helpful, inshallah, because our iman is one of those things that goes up and down, right? We can't be perfectly consistent all the time. You know, there are some days that are going to be better than others. There are some days where we're going to feel like we're closer to Allah or doing more for His sake, and there are some other days where maybe we feel like we are slacking a little bit and falling behind a little bit, or not exactly where we want it to be. And the same way we do a reset for our homes when we feel like our homes are chaos, and we try to spend a day getting things back in order to kind of have a refresh and a reset. We can do the same thing with our faith, inshallah. Try to create a reset moment to try to refresh ourselves, revive ourselves, inshallah, and start once again trying to motivate and encourage ourselves. So step one of this strategy includes spending a day with Allah. Choosing a day, a dedicated day, ideally a day when you can let go of as many responsibilities as possible, a day when you're not going to school or work or other things, where you can really focus and have moments of solitude, inshallah. You know, we have heard the Prophet ﷺ retreating to a cave and spending time in solitude, right? Sometimes we just need those moments of solitude to reconnect to Allah, to reflect, to think, to pause, to kind of slow down a little bit, to try to reset, inshallah. And basically create a day where you are extra mindful of Allah. Start your day intentionally waking up for Fajr, doing extra dhikr, trying to recite Quran, doing extra things. Just push yourself on that day to do as much as possible for the sake of Allah, and have it as a reset of your faith kind of day. And of course, you might have responsibilities that you can't just let go of. If you have children, family, certain responsibilities that you need to take care of, but try to approach those responsibilities with a renewed intention, inshallah, that these responsibilities are a blessing for Allah, whether it is kids you're taking care of, whether it is parents, family, other responsibilities. Try to renew your intention behind that and say, this is a blessing from Allah. I'm going to approach this blessing with really renewing my intention and doing these things for the sake of Allah, out of appreciation for His blessings. And these are doors of ajr or reward that Allah has given me specifically, so I'm going to embrace them and try to soak in as much reward as I can get through these doors by taking on these responsibilities with a beautiful mindset and intention, inshallah. And think about your hands, your fingers, your eyes, inshallah, testifying for you that you are handling these responsibilities in a beautiful manner, inshallah. Remember that Allah recognizes your efforts even if nobody else does. And also, if you want to take it up a notch, I had a teacher say that not just spend a day with Allah, but spend a day in istighfar. So keep saying astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah throughout the whole day. Just keep it on your tongue. And that way you are extra conscious of every action that you are doing. And you're not going to approach a bad action or a negative action while saying astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, being mindful of Allah. So it kind of helps you be extra mindful in that day of Allah, inshallah, so that you are really putting in good intentions into every action that you are doing, inshallah. Now, step two, when you're done with this day, reflect and adjust. Reflect on the day that you just had. How was it in comparison to your other days? Do you realize that in a typical day, you maybe waste a lot of moments in things that don't really help you get closer to Allah? Maybe you realize that you're spending way too much time on social media, for example, on other days, or maybe you realize you're spending time with not the best of company on your typical days, or whatever it is. Try to reflect and draw some lessons for yourself and identify things that you maybe want to eliminate or cut down of in your days so that you have more time for Allah and you're much more intentional in your days, inshallah. And try to make a detailed plan. So create some checkpoints for yourself, create specific goals for yourself. If after this period of time you have realized that maybe, you know what, usually on a typical day, I am hanging out with friends and going out a lot, and I don't consider prayer at all during my day, so I just skip prayers. I'm not intentional about my prayers, and so I want to become more intentional about my prayers. Maybe you set a goal for this next month that I am going to remove those barriers. If I realize one of those barriers is I'm just going out a lot and spending time with friends, I'm going to remove that barrier and not schedule time with friends when it is prayer time, for example. I'm going to be very intentional about blocking out prayer times, not letting anything overlap, and that is my goal for this month. I'm going to have a checkpoint at the end of the month where I review how I did. So keep track, inshallah, of whatever goal you have set for yourself and assess at the end of the month or whatever checkpoint you create yourself, whether it's 1 week, 1 month, and review. See, how did you do? Did you do better than usual? Did you realize that there are other adjustments you need to make, and so on. And then you set a new goal for the next month, inshallah, and again you assess and so on. So slowly you are making those small changes, because it's not an overnight switch, right? You can't just say, okay, these are all the issues I have and I'm gonna overnight change all of this. You can't expect to change overnight, right? But make those small little changes so that you can step by step, day by day, inshallah, incorporate them, and it becomes part of your daily routine, which you can actually hold consistent. Because you make changes slowly, you're more likely able to be consistent about them than if you try to change everything all at once and turn everything upside down. So keep giving yourself small tasks and checkpoints, inshallah, to encourage yourself to slowly improve. Number 4, spend time with good company. If you realize that there are certain family members or certain friends that are better company to spend time with, they're more righteous company, you feel like they encourage you better, they're also striving for goodness, try to spend more time with those types of people than other types of people that you feel are taking you away perhaps from Allah. And this includes also who you're spending time with on social media. That's also company you're spending time with. Who are you watching? Do they encourage you? Do they motivate you? Do they remind you of Allah? Or do they distract you away from Allah? So try to be mindful of who you are spending time with. Lastly, don't forget to make dua. Make dua, dua, dua. Make dua that Allah keeps your heart firm. Make dua that Allah keeps you striving for goodness, for righteousness. Make dua that Allah makes it easy for you. Make dua that Allah surrounds you with good company, that uplifts you, that encourages you, that brings you closer towards Him. Make dua that Allah keeps you away from harm. Keep making dua, rely on Allah, put in your efforts and make dua as well. And remember that you take one step towards Allah, you will see Him take many steps towards you. So don't belittle any step that you can take towards Him, inshallah. I hope that you found this beneficial. I hope that this encourages you. You can do this. Keep striving. Let's all keep striving together, inshallah. And take care. As-salamu Aleikum.